Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. Today is Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. These weekday morning Zooms are really oriented towards our distribution partners or our prospective distribution partners. We have a different series of Zoom webinars that are meant for clients or prospective clients, and those are held Mondays through Fridays, different times, multiple times during the day. But anyone is welcome today. Just keep in mind, we're going to be approaching this from the perspective of those of you who are distribution partners. But of course, if you're a distribution partner, we're here to help clients build financial literacy, get access to capital. So it's one big happy family. Okay, so we're going to talk about, as my screen should be shared, legal loopholes. We're going to understand how to legally, quote unquote, work the system to qualify for a large business loan. So we're going to kind of look behind the curtains, understand some of the things that we do that are legal, but maybe unusual, unconventional, that allows us to accomplish greater than expected results in less than the amount of time that would normally be required. Before we get started, we'll have to ask the question, well, what is a loophole? And thank you, Corinthian, for giving us this answer. A loophole is a law addressing certain issue that exist but can be legally circumvented due to a technical defect. Are legal loopholes illegal? Well, no, that's why they're legal. So no, a person or a company utilizing a legal loophole isn't considered to be breaking the law, but is circumventing it in a way that was not intended. So let's go through and talk about several ways that what you and I can do for clients, it's unusual, it's good, it's effective, it's aggressive, legal, but might fall under a loophole. To do that, let's start with what is it that we know that it takes to have a fundable business? We've talked about this from the beginning, the 3 C's. Who can type into the Q&A? It's like a chat box. What are the 3 C's when it comes to funding? I'll give you a moment to type those. The 3 C's. If we're going to apply for a loan, there's other issues, but what it often comes down to is, do we meet the 3 C's? So Harold, can you tell us what the 3 C's are? Could you type those in? Mr. Gibson, Mr. Phelan, we have 318 of you this morning. So if you can, go ahead and type into the Q&A, what are the 3 C's when it comes to funding? Okay, so in no particular order, there's credit. Thank you, Corinthian. So let's start with credit. What is credit? Credit is a reflection of how either we as a person and or our business has paid our bills in the past, because no one knows what the future holds, right? No one has a crystal ball. But how we've paid in the past as an individual and or as a business is frankly the best predictor from a lender's perspective of how we'll pay in the future. So credit is, of course, important. It's one of the 3 C's. We address it actually in 2 ways within the Shelf Corp. So let's go down and we'll break down what we're doing with credit. So with credit, on a personal side, we provide a free sweep. And that is listed here, the bottom bullet on the flyer. And of course, it's in the contract too. So this is the flyer that each of you should have. You'll edit the bottom and put your own contact information on it. And then, of course, this is just a summary of what's in the agreement, which is an outline of what we're going to provide. Is credit important? Yes. Do all lenders look at credit? No. But in general, we want to have a strong credit profile. So there's personal credit. And if someone comes to us with imperfect credit at no cost, we address that. That's the bottom bullet. And then also there's business credit, and we add trade lines. Because most people don't have bad business credit, but oftentimes businesses don't have established credit worthiness. So the first of the three C's is credit. And so we're able to use legal and effective means to remove negative items off of a personal credit profile. Also, we can also add trade lines. And then from a business side, usually it's not an issue of removing negative, it's just an issue of adding positive trade lines. So credit, important, one of the three C's. Do we have an unusual approach? We do. Our sweep is not credit repair. And you've heard me, maybe you've heard me tell this story before. We went through a Federal Trade Commission audit. That sounds kind of scary, and it's a big deal. But we went through the audit. We had no fines, no wrongdoings, no changes that needed to be made because we work with attorneys to build our system. So we do not do credit repair. We do not do credit repair. We won that battle, but we do help improve credit. So we have an innovative way working with attorneys that we can remove negative items in 4 days. FOUR, 4 days. Is that a legal loophole? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Normally, when it comes to credit improvement, you're thinking about credit repair, dispute. That's a lengthy process. Our model is far superior. It's legal, it's a legal loophole, but we can remove derogatories in FOUR, 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Adding trade lines is great because we want the business to show that it is a responsible user of credit. So we can legally and ethically add trade lines under the EIN on the business. So there's the first of the three C's. Okay, now let's move to the next. So the next is collateral. Collateral are those assets that the borrower pledges to the lender. So if the borrower should not pay as agreed, the lender can repossess it to mitigate the risk. I think we're all clear on collateral. Well, how do we create or leverage a loophole for collateral? Well, let's go on down here and let's identify it. So the truth is, most small business owners don't have enough collateral. So the amount of funding that they want, they don't have enough collateral for. So it's called a collateral shortfall. So what we do is for free, we provide collateral. So we know it's likely, well, let's go back to credit. So why do we bother worrying about personal credit if not all lenders use it? Well, some lenders do. We know a lot of people have ran into some rough patches. So since we know that's likely to occur, we built it in, bullet here. On collateral, we know a lot of people won't have enough collateral to qualify for the loan that they want. Since we knew that would likely happen frequently, not in all cases, but frequently, we've built it in. And so you can see the second bullet from the bottom, $100,000 of collateral. So, but let's talk about how that works. So let's say that you were going to apply for a loan and they asked you, let's just use a round number, 100,000. You're going to borrow $100,000 from a bank and they're going to ask you, do you have collateral? So that could be your house, your cars, your jewelry. What is it that you own that you want to put up? Well, putting up personal assets is a little frightening, but from a business perspective, what business assets do you have? Well, again, a business could have own real estate, could have equipment, business vehicles, but generally most of our clients don't have enough business collateral. So we're going to need to provide that for them legally and ethically. We're going to need to get them collateral. Well, what could we give them? We could give them a company car that could be pledged. We could give them some real estate, put it in their business name that could be pledged. We could give them inventory. But what we do is we provide accounts receivables. So our method of collateral is transferring. We transfer for free AR. AR, accounts receivable, I would argue, is the best type of collateral for us to transfer because AR, as you know, it's money owed to the business. So let's take Selena, who's on the line. So, well, yeah, so we'll go Selena. So we've got Brian in the line too. So let's say that Brian is the distribution partner. Brian brought in Selena. Selena bought a shelf corporation. Selena doesn't have enough collateral, which is okay, it's the norm. So Brian facilitates the transfer for free to Selena $100,000 of accounts receivable. It's stated right here and it's in the agreement. So it's really what happens. Normally, we're trying to get that to the client within 24 hours. So within one day, we want the client to be sitting on 100,000 in one business day. So that counts as collateral because AR accounts receivables. AR is an asset that does count as collateral. But the collateral is even more important when we think about the third C. So now let's go to the third C, which is capacity, sometimes referred to as cash flow. Means the same thing. So let's go down here. How do we use loopholes to be able to provide capacity? Well, by transferring the AR for free, which we said and we've shown you, then we liquidate the AR to turn into cash. Now, let's think a little bit deeper here. So I know so often if you have a new business, you're thinking, well, I've got a new business, it's not going to have any of these three C's. Well, that's bad because you're not going to qualify for a loan. So even a new business can be strong in the three C's if we use legal loopholes to fulfill that. We've talked about credit. Sorry, we talked about credit. We talked about collateral. So credit takes 4 days, not immediate, 4 days, still pretty damn fast. Collateral, normally one business day, 24 hours. When you get down to capacity, otherwise known as cash flow, that's where a lot of people say, well, goodness, how are we going to fix that, right? This is a brand new business. It doesn't have any money coming in. Well, we have two ways to fix that with a shelf corp. The first of which is that we liquidate the AR to turn into cash, which I've mentioned here. So that means now we're collecting the money from the debtors that owe the business. That money is going into the Shelf Corp's bank account, and a bank deposit is a bank deposit, right? So was it an organic client of theirs where they went out and sold a good or a service? No, it's collecting the AR, but a bank deposit is a bank deposit. It works the same way. Secondly, we help with capacity because shelf corps are what we call cash ready. They're ready to start making money, start making earned income. So, in summary, what we wanted to cover today, and we'll open it up for questions and conversation, is that we have a number of legal loopholes that you and I can help anyone qualify for a minimum of $100,000 of funding. And we guarantee it. Well, how can you guarantee that? Because we know how the system works. We're going to stay within the confines of the law, but we're going to be able to leverage loopholes with all three C's so clients qualify. From a credit perspective, we can remove negative items in literally 4 days. Secondly, we can add trade lines to the business so the business has a strong credit profile. From a collateral perspective, we know a lot of people have a shortfall, so we provide that for free. And then we can turn around and liquidate that AR that we provided to turn into cash. And then also these businesses, the Shelf Corp, it's not just a figment of someone's imagination. It's a real business that's ready to start making money immediately. Immediately. Now, some of our clients get it, and so then they turn on the cash flow right away. Some of our clients like one aspect of capacity versus the other. Let's take Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown's online. He's a client and also a distribution partner. So in his case, we are executing number one for his shelf corp, but he does not yet want to do number two. And that's okay. It's his choice. It's his business. But normally a logical person would want to turn on both streams of capacity. So that way we have even more borrowing capacity. We can borrow more money more quickly. So with that being said, who has questions, comments, concerns on the loopholes that we've discussed, how they work, how they're legal? What do you need to know? Because when you look at it this way, what you and I offer is incredibly valuable. It's unmatched. There's no one else that offers what we offer. Plus, because of the grant we received, the Shelf Corporation, while the client is paying you to buy the Shelf Corporation, the grant reimburses them 100% of what they paid. So in the end, they're getting all of this for free, for free. So in the end, they're getting a business entity for free. The EIN, of course, is free from the IRS. They're getting the business plan for free. They're getting the unique commercial address for free. Let's focus on this for a minute. This is a bit of a side note. But if you think this is bullshit, you're wrong. And just this morning, I got an email. No, I'm sorry, it's a text from one of our clients. We're going through funding, and the lender asked her yesterday, tell me about your lease. So what we've built, it's real, it's relevant. If you don't understand it, that's okay. Then we need to do a better job to explain it. But this address is incredibly important. It's required for most loans, certainly for SBA loans. But anyway, so they're getting that for free. They're getting their website for free, business financials for free. The $100,000 they're getting for free of collateral. But remember, we'll turn around and liquidate that for them. And then if they have shitty credit, we'll fix it for free. Okay, so let's go back to your questions. I'll pull up my notes. And thank you, Mr. Mays, for your kind words. So, what doesn't make sense? You all are smart. You're motivated. Miss Valentine, welcome to the call this morning. You're I'm sure going to be one of our top producing partners this month. Miss Valentine, what about this doesn't make sense? Because if you understand it, it's a really great deal for the client. And you control the pricing, right? It's up to you how much you want to charge the client for a shelf corp. I would say most of you are charging $15,000, and as you know, we need $10,000 to cover our cost to pay our vendors. So at $15,000, you're putting $5,000 in your pocket. If that's not enough, increase the price. I think it was Pearly, and forgive me if I have this wrong. Pearly, are you selling yours at $35,000? Could you respond back in the chat, the Q&A, and make sure I didn't get you wrong on that? But some of you are selling it for $35,000 or more. It's up to you. You choose the price. The grant will reimburse the participant for the cost of the Shelf Corp after we've gone through and gone to funding. So, and cannot remember if it was Kenya or who said it yesterday, but someone said, hey, Tom, you don't understand. People don't care what the cost is. They only care what's their out of pocket. And that's up to your opinion. But an individual can buy a shelf corporation from you for $1,000 down. We finance the rest. So what they're looking at is $1,000 out of pocket. So I think those of you that are successful at sales, you know how to wordsmith things, being legal and ethical and accurate, but you say the things that's most likely to draw a positive response. So when you tell someone, hey, here's the value proposition, we provide legal loopholes to be able to get you funded quick, we guarantee the funding, and you're only looking at $1,000 out of pocket, people will eat that up. Now, on occasion, you'll run into someone that doesn't have $1,000. Well, they're really not a prospect then, right? They're insolvent, they're broke. But most people have $1,000, so I don't think that's going to be a significant issue. All right, questions, comments, concerns? Anything you need to know about shelf corps, Anything you need to know about the deliverables? Anything that you need to know about the legal loopholes? All right, so Claude is asking about Pearlie says she's not selling hers at 35. What is your price, Pearlie? Forgive me. My memory's not always so good. If you can remind me, Pearlie, what you're selling yours for. Or let's just say the last 10 you sold, Pearlie. What's been the average sales price, Pearlie, of the last 10 shelves that you sold? And I'll get it accurate for everyone. Okay, let's see. So Claude's bringing up a good point. I'm going to paraphrase it a bit. So Claude's bringing up a good point that's maybe obvious to you, maybe not. So with the Shelf Corp, it's like a business in a box. It's ready to go to funding, but it's certainly possible that it doesn't meet all of the client's needs. In other words, we need to embellish, we need to build it out more, which that's fine, doesn't cost anything extra, and it doesn't really require any extra measurable amount of time, maybe a day. But maybe we do need to go in and change the business plan to better meet what they want, or maybe because we're guaranteeing 100,000, maybe 100,000 is not enough, and that's kind of where Claude's question was coming. What if they want 300,000? That's fine. So we've got the platform here that's ready to go to funding at 100,000. But if the client wants a higher capital raise, that's fine. That's not a problem. Then we just need to edit everything to match the client's capital raise goals. So don't get hung up on that. And I think that's where some of you aren't closing deals, where the client says, well, no, I don't want 100,000, I want 1 million. This won't work for me. Well, hell yes, it'll work. Go ahead and get them their shelf corporation, and then we can make the edits, the tweaks, that it's built out instead of for 100,000 for a different amount, a larger amount. So don't let that be a problem. Pearlie, you never did respond. So sorry if I said the 35,000 wasn't right. What's the average sales price, Pearlie, that you sold the last 10 shelf corps? Well, maybe everyone could do that. Could you all take a moment and respond to the Q&A? Think about the last 10 shelf corps that you sold. What did you sell it at? What was your purchase price to the client? Because we know we need 10,000 to cover our costs. Anything above 10,000 is your profit. We know that you can collect just 1,000 down, and with 1,000 down, then we can get the rest financed. So I understand the mechanics. But yeah, it seems like 15,000 is still the average, but some of you are charging more. Toby, did you type 50,000, 50,000? Okay, well, so some of you are charging 35 to 50,000, and that is up to you. You choose the sales price. Regardless, 1,000 down, you keep half, send us half, upload the contract into the Dropbox, and then we'll get to work on financing. All right, Mr. Gibson's asking about the AR. So our goal is within 24 hours of a client getting the Shelf Corporation to send them their 100,000. And even if they've only put 1,000 down, we can still transfer that 100,000 within 24 hours, even though the rest hasn't been paid for yet. Great point. All right. Well, with that being said, that's what I wanted to cover. I wanted you to understand some legal loopholes that we're able to use to help clients be able to qualify for funding that they probably wouldn't otherwise. Hopefully, some of this information is helpful for you. If you're a white label partner, you've promised to do a deal a week, a deal a week. And so we're here to support and assist you. But if you're not doing a deal a week, you're frankly not compliant. So we need to figure that out. If you need help, give Madison a call or send Madison an email. Madison on Wednesdays, she is facilitating the mail. So we do mail forwarding for everyone that has a Shelf Corp. And mail day is Wednesday. So she's a little bit more tied up today. But reach out to her if there's anything you need. We'll see you back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.